Hello. So, this is my first upload on my YouTube channel. I've tried to make this video a few times, but I've been having some issues editing for the first time. So I'm just gonna record like this while playing. Um, I'm playing Lego Fortnite, and I don't know. I have this weird stage fright when I'm recording, or what's the word? Like brain fog, just major brain fog. I have difficulty concentrating when I'm doing like talking, walking Lego Fortnite, and thinking and all that. So there's gonna be a lot of me saying and having difficulty trying to concentrate on what I'm saying, which is weird. I don't really have issues normally talking or thinking, but I don't know. The recording thing really messes me up because if I was just with friends, like on stream, and I'm playing Fortnite or Apex, I'm able to talk about ideas, etc. But I don't know. The recording thing really messes me up. Um, so yeah, I've been trying to make this video for a week now, and I just kept messing it up. I have like the DaVinci editing software, and I've made like recorded this I don't know how many times, like 10 times, and the audio would get messed up or whatever. So I'm just gonna do it this way. Just run around in Lego Fortnite and talk for like an hour. I don't know, and then upload the video. So let's do it. Let's get on my phone, look at my points that I need to talk about, and start. I should mention I'm a Zoomer, mid-20s Zoomer, born in the late 90s. I'm around, what is it called? I know people have different definitions of what a Zoomer is, but my definition is like if you're born 98 or after, you're a Zoomer. Maybe even 97, but anything but under that is your millennial. That's my definition. And I'm unvaxxed. I've always been based since I was a little kid. I'm one of those. It's not like I watched some YouTube videos and became based or something like that. So I've always been like hyper traditionalist. I'm Orthodox. Uh, Not a LARP. I don't live in fucking Toronto or Sydney, and I'm Orthodox. I've come from an Orthodox region. So I've always been hyper traditional. By the way, this video is gonna be very long-winded because I'm not gonna just you know, monologue for whatever, like 20 minutes straight. I'm going to be gaming, so there'll be moments where I just like, hold on, I'm doing something. There might be a part two to this video if I'm like in a few days. Hold on, let me kill this fool actually. Yeah, in a few days, if I like I want to talk about a subject that I forgot to, so I'll look back on this video and be like, oh, I forgot to talk about X, Y, and Z. Then I'll come back to this video. I mean, sorry, I'll come back and make another part two video talking about things I forgot to mention. So let's open my things I have to talk about. Okay, let's talk about. Okay, listen, I might say some things that are in code word because censorship's a big issue with YouTube. So talking about saying certain words now won't get you banned, but maybe in a few months or in a year will get you banned. This is a cyclical thing, this censorship stuff. So it's a pressure release valve they do. Most likely in a few months they'll crack down. Mass bannings, do that keep that for a few years, and then you know let the how do I say then loosen up in a few years. I think I'm not really sure. I'm assuming they're doing this cyclical pressure release valve with censorship because I don't know, maybe it's to combat like alternative platforms. So when alternative platforms are made and like grow a little, they don't want that to I don't know stick around, so they kind of kill all plats for by loosening up on stuff on censorship. Um, so that might be a reason. So let's talk about Nick Fuentes. I'll just say NF or Nick. I've known Nick not personally, but like I've seen him on YouTube since he was a teenager. Um, so like, this was like what 2017, 2018, because he's a year older than me. So So he would make videos debating a lot of people that don't exist on YouTube now. There would be these like talk about ethno states or race talks, or because back then, like this is before COVID, in 2015, with the mass immigration problems of Europe and North America, people were like normal people were like, hey, listen, this thing is a big deal. Like millions of people are coming in, they're changing the demographics, and Nick Fuentes back then was a CivNat, a civic nationalist. He wouldn't want to talk about leprechauns, let's call them. I don't want to get banned again, so I'm gonna call them leprechauns. He didn't really talk about the leprechaun question. He wouldn't really give monologues on women or races. He would he would just talk about like I don't know low taxes and Trump and CivNat stuff. He went mask off. I forget like 2019 or 2020, right in the beginning of COVID. He really went mask off. And I'm not saying he's disingenuous. I just think that he knew back then it was not a good move to just make a take the position like the full mask off position. It wasn't smart. You could be honest, you could be genuine, but you can't be. Um, he was trying to be smart, and even now he's trying to be smart. For example, one of my first prediction is that in 2028, Nick is going to stop. He's going to push the there is no political solution. So this is old opinion that people, and I would say like me, Nick, or many others, and Zoomers back in 2015 were realizing like, hey, actually, it looks like politics is fake. It looks like politics and politicians are actors, and this story we're given of elections and representatives and the way the system works seems fake. And we kind of before COVID saw that yeah, there is no political solution. Like government is our number one enemy, and I hold this position. I think Nick right now has that opinion, but he's not going. He's going to lie, and on stream and with his viewers, he's going to pretend there is a solution, that we have to vote, that we have to whatever. But I think my prediction is that by 2028, he's gonna, because of JD Vance. It really doesn't matter if he gets elected or not, JD Vance. And I think Nick also believes that. That it really doesn't matter who wins. It would be a smart move if Nick is so anti JD Vance and JD Vance loses the election by like a small amount. People will say, "Hey, yeah, Nick made JD Vance lose. If it wasn't for Nick, rabidly against JD Vance, he would have won the election, but he lost by a marginal amount or whatever." That would be like, "Oh yeah, Nick is swaying elections. Nick is very influential." So that would be a smart move for Nick to do that. But at the end of the day, like I said, it really doesn't matter who wins, if it's JD Vance or not. But I think by 2028, Nick's gonna push um, the talking point that yeah, guys, we have to internalize that voting politics. That's not a solution. That's a waste of time, and we have to start. These countries are lost. I think that's another thing he's gonna start talking about. Like these countries are permanently lost, and best case scenario, we create enclaves. We create what the Afrikaners did in South Africa, what the Brazilians are doing in Brazil. Just these like gated communities, these private mini states, or how do I say, or I mean, sorry, city states. That's gonna be best case scenario. That in Italy or France is gonna be swamped. Fucking like Canada, all these countries are gonna be run over, and I mean, like just taken over. It's gonna be over. But best case scenario, yeah, Zoomer guys. When we start having children and buying property and stuff, we will start creating communities and do what the smart Afrikaners did and create enclaves in our own countries. And it doesn't matter how small the enclave is. That's going to be a success because, like I said, it's set in stone. These countries are lost. There is no voting or whatever it is. I know a lot of people are coping, even people my age, right now are still coping. But like I said, in 2028 and after, especially 2030, people are going to give up on the political solution and start embracing creating micro states or these like private city states are is a solution. Another thing is community building. That's another prediction I have. That really we don't have communities in the West. Um, Obviously, there's other like we used to have communities, and also other races today have communities. But if you go to Canada or any European country, whatever, there's no community anymore. You know, so that's something that's going to happen, and that people like Nick are going to start pushing. in I think 5 years. That's my prediction. Right now it's 2025. It's almost New Year's, but it's late 2025, and I think by 5 years from now, this talk of guys, we need to like you know create communities, real communities. People don't really know what that means. They think a community is when you know your neighbor. If you know your neighbor's name, that's a community. That's not a community. Um, and a community is it really is heavily, how do I say, interlaced with religion and church and traditional roles, even militias. Having a militia, having your local church that everyone goes to, everyone having kind of independent institutions, having your own currency that your community uses, or having your own schools that you run, not public schools or whatever. So really having your own land and private, almost like a private government. That's a community, and we don't have that. So that's something that we have. Zoomers have to start. Not it's not like I have to, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. We're going to start doing it in 5, 10 years when we really. Because right now Zoomers are kids. Zoomers are in their 20s. Some are even teenagers. So we're in school. We're living with our parents. We really don't have assets. But yeah, in our 30s, we're gonna not all of us, a minority of us will actually make it through the evolutionary bottleneck. That's another prediction I have, that there is going to be an evolutionary bottleneck in the next. Well, it's happening now. It actually started, I think, a few years ago, and it's going to end by 2050, let's say. So in the next few decades, there is this evolutionary bottleneck happening right now, and a majority of the population is going to be low caste slaves. That's my idea. My prediction is they're going to become low caste, essentially slaves, infertile, not have children, or basically have children but they don't count, because when you have children with that can't reproduce, when you have children that are not of your let's say background, then I'm not counting them. So the evolutionary bottleneck is something like, let's say boomers, Gen X, the majority of them, got married, had homes, had children, not just one child that had Down syndrome. I'm saying like several children on average, and I think that's going to stop right now with millennials, but especially with Zoomers and Gen Alpha, that's going to stop. I think a lot of women are effectively infertile. I know there's ways around that, like surrogacy or whatever, but they're effectively infertile. Because even if they do this surrogacy route, a lot of times there's consequences to that. The kids come out with mental issues, they come out with health issues, so they're not normal, healthy offspring. And so like I said, the workarounds are really not workarounds. Yes, there will be a lot, not a lot, but there will be in like 2030, 2040, there will be Zoomers, good-looking Zoomer guys with 3, 4 children and a good wife, etc. That's gonna be a thing, but it's gonna be a minority. I think a lot of women are infertile because at 11 years old they're being put on birth control. They're being put on birth control, SSRIs. They're having abortions, and there are permanent consequences of that. And I know people say, no, there's no consequences. Yeah, you're infertile, but then you could I don't know, do surgeries to become fertile again. I don't know, but no, there are consequences. Yeah, you could have a kid maybe, but you'll have one kid, and the kid will have serious issues, so he doesn't count as a healthy offspring. So the point I'm saying that you have to get in your head is that Zoomer guys, a minority of them. What is this? A minority of Zoomer guys. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna equip a damn glider. How do I equip a glider? Oh, I think it's this. Okay. And I go to my backpack. I really don't play this much, though. Okay, I think I do it over here. There we go. So, yeah. So, Zoomer guys, right? I think we are the last largest generation. Meaning that after us, it's going to be an upside-down triangle. That Zoomers are, whatever our number is right now, it's only going to be downwards. Like our children, our grandchildren, it's going to be an upside-down triangle. A majority of us, like I said, will effectively not have children. Um, and when I say effectively, you have to keep in mind I'm saying healthy offspring of your own. How do I say ethnicity? So I'm not saying like I'm not counting Somalian children or Dravidians or whatever, or even like half bloods or whatever. I'm saying full on normal um, children that are healthy from your own race. And yeah, so because Zoomers, who are the parents of Zoomers? It's like most Zoomers have Gen X as their parents, but some of us have Boomers, like some Gen Z that I know have Boomer parents. And yeah, like I said, majority of Gen X, majority of Boomers had more than one child. Whereas Zoomers, yeah, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be the opposite. Um, So numbers are going to be down. It really doesn't matter. I know people might have in mind, I don't know, this idea that we need numbers, we need to be billions of people. No, really numbers. If you're 100 million people or 100,000 people, that's more than enough. Even 10,000 people is more than enough people to work with. And when it comes to competition, oh, but look, there's 20 billion Dravidians and only, 10,000 of us, it doesn't matter. They're not going to outperform us. They can't, they're capped with when it comes to capabilities. And so yeah, that's another prediction I have. The evolutionary bottleneck that's happening right now, and that's why I recommend a lot of Zoomer guys do. I'm saying a lot. Like I said, I have a lot of this my first video, so but a lot of Zoomer guys are having. Well, I recommend a lot of Zoomer guys buy land. I think land. Um, bro, I'm saying a lot. Buying land, having children, getting married, creating communities. This is going to be, I think, our goal for the next 10 years. By 2035, we should have a lot of that um, set up. So that should be our goal. And I think land, I recommend you keep quantity over quality. Um, Land that you could homestead on, and not like frozen tundra land or just bad land. I think land that is in a sustainable area, meaning it's not there's a lot of areas that are unsustainable because of society or development or whatever the reason. So I think getting land, setting up a homestead in certain communities are very important for us in the next 10 years. I'll start up with another prediction. Um, Oh yeah, no taxes. I know this is kind of sounds far fetched now, but I think when a lot of us in the West start doing this, having children, starting communities, starting like literally creating enclaves, we're going to disassociate so much with the country and the society that a lot of us are going to be like, yeah, we're not going to pay taxes anymore. That's not a thing right now, but I think in 10 years that's going to become a thing, like a movement, let's say, where it's just like en masse, white guys just decide not to pay taxes anymore, and that's gonna be a big deal. And I'm saying like elite, how do I say, against the law. I think that's gonna become a trend, um, due to reasons. But what else? Let's see. Oh yeah, another thing that we should keep in mind is our numbers. So let's say on average, most countries have 50% of the population is male. The other 50% are women. And out of the 50%, how much are Zoomers? Remove the Boomers or the Gen X or whatever, or even foreigners. Remove the foreigners. Let's count how many white Zoomer guys there are in a country. It's a fraction. It's like what, less than 10% of the population. And how much of that are healthy white, maybe even right leaning? Let's not count the like disabled or mentally ill or transformer types. So it's just healthy, right leaning. It's a small percentage. It's less than 5% of the entire population are what is this? Are Zoomers, and we have to keep in mind that a third of us are usually just indifferent. Have our own lives going on and are very indifferent when it comes to politics, or they don't really care. The other third are just straight up traitors. Like they are. When I say traitors, what I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Uh, Actively, violently fight against us. They are not our friends. They are kind of with the enemy. They want to destroy us. What's this? Ooh. How do I dig this up? Oh, maybe with a pickaxe. Hold on. Sorry, guys, that I know I should be giving a clean 20-minute hyperly edited monologue, but that's not gonna happen today. Let's get maybe a pickaxe. This one. Okay. Is this working? Maybe not. Okay, maybe it's this. Okay. So what was I saying? Something about ooh, what's this? Okay. So, hmm. Oh yeah, traders. So you have to keep that in mind. That a third of us Zoomers are going to be permanently indifferent. You know, they're capped at that. Let's say a third of us are capable of becoming active, you know, right-leaning, base people, whatever. And the other third are going to be just straight-up traders and mind controlled and all that comes with that. Um, so yeah, let's go to something else. But this video is gonna be so cringe. When I look back at this video in like 10 years, it's gonna be so cringe the way I did it. But like I said, I'm just like at wit's end. It's almost New Year's, and I've been trying to do this for a week, and the editing keeps getting messed up. Like every time I record, half the audio gets, I don't know, um, like it's unusable. So let's see. Um, sorry, I'm reading the bullet points right now. Okay, I hope people start realizing that there is going to be no mass awakening. This is like old news for a lot of us. A lot of people already know this, but there's never going to be a mass awakening of the masses. Like, oh, it's an information war. We just have to tell the masses or enough guys this, and a lot of guys will know. That's not like it's capped. People that are, how do I say, people that have agency, people that could think for themselves, people that, etc. Is like it's a limited number and it's genetically like that. So it's not an information war that we're fighting. There will be never a mass awakening or a collapse, a societal collapse. Like, oh, when things get really bad, like really, really bad economically or whatever, due to war, yeah, there'll be like a collapse. That's not going to happen. The Congo hasn't collapsed. South Africa has gotten really bad. It hasn't collapsed. Brazil, you know, a lot of things can get really bad, and we're post having a like no, people will get angry. You know, people will get so angry due to this, and then there'll be like a revolution. That's not going to happen. Okay, I hope people realize mass awakening, societal collapse, economic collapse, or um, what's the other thing? Like revolution's not going to happen. A revolution could happen, but it's going to be obviously like how it has been historically, a conspiracy of elites. So there could be a coup or a revolution, but it's always going to be a conspiracy. It won't be, you know, I don't know, a peasant revolt or anything like that. Um, Also, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Nick Fuentes girlfriend thing. You know how people used to say, "Oh, if you're a guy and you're religious, or you haven't had a girlfriend and you don't simp for a girl all day, then you're gay." And then people are like, "No, actually, having a girlfriend makes you gay." I think a lot of people are understanding now what that means. Um, I think a lot of guys know other guys with girlfriends, and it's pretty apparent that a lot of guys with girlfriends or wives or whatever become mega simps. Mega simps, they are really not. How do I say? It's almost like this mind control thing. They really become. I don't know what the exact terminology is now. I think they just say henpecked or long housed. But that's a real thing. And I know people say, no, you can have a girlfriend and be normal. No, a lot of guys that have girlfriends fucking lose their soul in a way. And yeah, it does turn them gay. It doesn't turn them into huge simps. And being that type of like effeminate mega simp, like backstabbing friends or that type of energy when you have a girlfriend, yeah, it gives off, you're gay. Also, another thing about, that is a lot of women are super masculine. Like, I don't know if you've seen millennial women or even Gen Z women, they're essentially just gay men. They act and talk and spiritually, mentally, everything. They are gay men, just with long hair, with a wig on. They are so, and they are not going to be mothers, bro. And a lot, like I said, a lot of people are getting this now. This is becoming more mainstream. These women will never be wives or mothers. They will never know what that is, and they're lost causes. This idea of like, hey, what is a wife? What is a mother? Whatever it is, millennial women, Gen Z women are not going to be that en masse. So guys are realizing that and say, oh yeah, actually, um, like I said, another thing is that a lot of them are super infertile. They're super infertile. So thankfully, there is this type of um, a lot of guys are noticing this, becoming more aware because this talk. I remember like this was like a year ago. People would talk about, so yeah, if you're like not a simp for a woman, you're gay or something. I don't know how that makes sense, but okay, let's. I think I'm gonna talk about like three more points. Oh yeah, okay. Another thing is a prediction is, boomers as of 2025 are still around. I think in 10 years they're gonna go extinct. Like effectively, boomers will go into mass extinction in 10 years. They won't exist. And right now, as of 2025, the idea of boomers is they destroyed the West. Obviously, they weren't. I don't think they were the culprits. They were just bystanders. But they were born in Germany, Italy, Canada, wherever the country was, and they lived throughout. They lived during the destruction of these countries. They hold most of the wealth, and like I said, they had a lot of services. They were 20 years old, getting a job on one income, buying a home, having children, whatever, and that is unimaginable for a lot of 20-year-old people to get a job and buy a house and have. It's not a thing. And a lot of people obviously give the blame to boomers. Also, boomers were the first generation to go like hyper feminist. Like people don't realize whatever we're living through right now was all birthed post World War II. Post World War II is when this type of globalist, whatever we want to call it, modern ideology was pushed. So boomers grew up like that. They grew up, and now we the later generations are the consequences of the sculpting that the boomers, like I said, the boomers in a way you could even see them as mindless victims because who's responsible for like are people responsible for themselves? No. Most people have to be led. Most people are slaves. So that's another thing that whatever. But my prediction is that Gen X is going to become like boomers. They're going to be because Gen X, what same thing. They were in their 20s during the 90s, in the 2000s, in the early 2000s. They were buying homes for low prices. They were getting married, having children, whatever. And in what 10 years, Gen X will be the 70-year-olds. They will be the new 70-year-olds, and they're gonna have this like let it burn mentality. Like, oh, I don't care, like let it burn thing. So that's a prediction that effectively Gen X will become the new boomers and be very similar to boomers. Hold a lot of wealth, really lucked out. Hold on to $1 million properties that they bought for $20,000 in 2002 or whatever. And also this mentality of like not understanding what's going on. Like, hey, your country was destroyed during your lifetime, and them just being in denial about it until they die. So that's a prediction I have. Let's see. How about millennials? I don't know. Let's not talk about millennials. Millennials are complicated. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, AI robots, VR girlfriends, and this type of like a prediction I have is it'll be regulated. Like I think when it first comes out, he's like robot girlfriends or whatever. I think yeah, governments, women are gonna like regulate the fuck out of it. You'll need a licenses or just straight up ban it, or I don't know. But I feel like there'll be a window of opportunity, like a year or two, And who's using it? Because, like I said, a lot of guys that are healthy will not end up getting it. They might get it, I don't know, but they'll end up just having, like I said, homestead children, whatever. So who's getting it? The in between. There'll be a lot of guys that are not doing the homestead thing, but instead of getting a real girlfriend and wasting time with her, like I said, you know those girls, those so-called OnlyFans, trophy wives, whatever. A lot of them might lose their job to just AI girlfriends. Not AI girlfriends, or robot girlfriends. With those type of like Dubai tech bros, whatever. Might say, hey, actually, this woman is aging, and she's actually not as attractive as a robot girlfriend. So I think that'll be a thing, and governments will regulate it. So yeah, I think robot girlfriends will have a market, a huge market actually, for I don't know, incel guys or tech bros, or even I think a lot of millionaire guys will prefer having might opt out just having an AI girlfriend. And let's see something else. Oh yeah, I don't know. Do people? That's a something that another prediction I have in 5 or 10 years. We're really going to internalize that the West, North America, Europe, is second world. For 100 years straight, the West has been the first world of. It's been first world. It's been the standard, and yeah, that's changing right now. And in the coming years, it's gonna be normalized. Yeah, we're actually second world. We're not first world. Oh yeah, first world's in Japan. First world's in Korea. It's in Qatar. It's gonna be in China, but it's not here. First world. France won't be first world. It'll be second world. Same with U.S. and Canada. People might be autistic and be like, technically Second World was made by the North Americans in the 1880s to describe South America, whatever. Well, you guys know what I'm talking about when I say Second World. I'm talking society is a low-trust society. You go out, it's dangerous, horrible infrastructure, low quality of life, etc. That's going to be the West. That's going to be Europe. Right now, actually, in the next coming years, people are going to internalize that and start accepting it. So right now it's a phrase that most people will disagree with. They're like, hey, what? Germany's second world? No, that's not. It's first world, whatever. Yeah, that's something that people will actually start agreeing with in 2030s. Start saying, oh yeah, actually you're right. Yeah, Germany is a second world country. So that's a prediction I have. Let's see. Oh yeah, the vax. By the way, I'm unvaxxed. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are for unvaxxed based guys. I feel like it must be 50-50. Because a lot of guys were too young and they were kind of forced by their parents to get the vax because they were in high school or something. Thank God I was in my 20s and well, no one in my family got the vax, so I really lucked out. But it's kind of funny that right now it really doesn't matter if you got vax or unvaxxed, but I think it's like a mental thing. Um, like, how do I say? It's like let me check something. Okay. So, let's see this. Oh yeah. So something else that a prediction I have is internalizing history. Because you know how people said everything was perfect in 2005, and then things went downhill all of a sudden. And that view of history we have right now, of yeah, the 90s were fine, everything was fine, and then whatever. I think my prediction is that no, in 5, 10 years, people are going to start coming to what is the word? Coming to the understanding, or accept the narrative, the narrative that become more popular. That no, it actually started all in World War II. All post 1945. All of this was birthed, and it took time to change, transform the West. It really took decades. But it started in 1945, right when the World War II ended, is when this new world was birthed and started developing. So no, 2005 wasn't perfect. The 90s weren't perfect. And it's not even just a perfect thing, but it's just like it was set in stone. Right now, what we're living through, this mass immigration, transformation of our countries, or loss of our countries, all this was set in stone right after 1945, when Europe lost the war, because that's what happened. It wasn't America lost the war as well. The UK lost the war. Basically, global Europeans lost the war. I'm not going to go into detail about that, but But that narrative of history, my prediction is in 10 years will become mainstream. Right now it's not mainstream, but it'll become more normalized. Let's say. Mm, there's only a few more points I want to talk about. Did I already talk about the Afrikaners? You know, the Afrikaners, the bottleneck, the evolutionary bottleneck they went through is going to start happening right now, and it's actually happening right now in Western countries. China is going to be a first world country. Another thing I forgot to mention about Nick is sometimes he'll lie. Not sometimes, but like right now he's lying a lot. And he's always lied. Like when he was a CivNat, right? And he would debate against. This is back in like 2018. He would debate on YouTube against things. A lot of times he would debate against his own positions. You know, um, things that he even agrees with, he would debate against. So it's kind of like it doesn't make you dishonest. It doesn't make you disingenuous. It's just a thing, you know. So Nick debated. I mean, right now he's lying about America First. America First is not real. Like America is not a country. Like whatever was in the 1950s and not even the 90s, or this idea of America is dead. And yes, in the future there could be a new Americanism, a new a rebirth or something. But this America First, no, the American government there is no fixing it, and that is the number one enemy. And Nick stopped talking about that. He stopped talking about Russia, China being an ally, because he knows it's just like long term, right? As of now, I mean, it's not a good look to his audience, etc. So he's toning down the China talk or the Russia talk, or them being our allies, and the U.S. government being the supreme enemy to the people, to us. They're the supreme enemy. He's toning that down. He like I said, he hasn't went mask off on the there is no political solution. So he's gonna do that soon. In a few years, he'll go to that. It's not like he'll change his mind. He's right now, Nick does not believe in democracy. He hasn't believed in democracy for years. He's for monarchy. He's a monarchist. He's not, like I said, this is things he'll lie about it. If right now, today, 2025, he gets interviewed and says, "Hey, are you a monarchist?" He'll say no. He'll say, "No, I believe in American republicanism and blah 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 and voting." Whatever. He's lying right there. He doesn't believe in that. He'll change his public position in a few years about there being a political solution, or what is it called? There being like in America First. Right now, he's still pretending, yeah, America First, Trump, whatever. He knows that's dead. He knows America. That idea is far gone. It's kind of like I don't even know. It's kind of like Hawaiians LARPing as Hawaiian. I don't even know how to compare it to something, but I haven't really thought about that. But when he says things like America First and vote for this and politics matters and try to infiltrate the government and this and that, he knows that's just rambling. And in a way, it's good because some of that stuff actually, for whatever other reason, improves his influence. Getting people to join positions of power, short term, long term, whatever it does, help his influence or help his position, whatever it could be, his prestige, his luck, but yeah, that's something. So the first thing is I think he'll become more vocal in the next few years about China and Russia actually being right, or whatever is anti the American government is good. Basically, he'll become more vocal on that, and what I think post 2028, and also China. I don't know what people mumble today, but it's first world today. It's first world, and it'll be the largest first world country in the world. By the 2030s, it will be the largest, undoubtedly, first world country in the world. So let's see. I think that's all. What else? Did I talk about taxes? Hopefully, not paying taxes becomes mainstream in like 10 years. Well, that's gonna, like I said, I don't. I think that's gonna be a consequence of community building. When people start creating these like these enclaves, these European enclaves in Western countries, that's when. Wait, let me deploy the glider. Okay, that's when people will be like, actually, yeah, I'm not going to get milked by the government this much because taxes will only increase, and yeah, 50% taxes running your business, and people are going to like say, yeah, en masse, like, yeah, let's not do that. It's kind of funny because found workarounds in South Africa to not pay taxes, but they haven't gone as far as just like straight up saying no, I'm not going to do it. But they haven't done that yet. But I think that's it. Should I end the video now? Let me just quadruple check that I went through most of my points. Oh yeah, voting democracy. Yeah, democracy is not real, guys. Um, this is pretty basic. Democracy, let's say in the U.S., it could be real. If it's 1% of the 1%, if it's like a handful, like 50,000 guys in the whole country voting, then sure, then it's real. Then all of a sudden, politicians become serious. They're not circus actors anymore. All of a sudden, politics becomes more, how do I say, influential and even intellectual. But when you give the vote to everyone, mentally ill people, literally people in mental asylums, obviously women, but just everyone. Um, at that point, you've debased it so much that it has no more meaning. It has no more how do I say, control. So democracy is essentially or effectively void when you give the vote to everyone. And let's see. Mm, Let me try like read some other stuff that I'm trying to talk about. I talk about censorship, mass censorship being a cycle, and it's gonna happen, start soon again. I think this new year, 2026, is when censorship might come back. Yeah. So sorry, guys. This is technically my first ever video on this YouTube channel that I've uploaded, apart from YouTube Shorts or my streams. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video, subscribe. On my streams when I'm streaming Fortnite or Apex, I will talk about politics or society and stuff like this. But yeah, I know a lot of people will disagree with a lot of my points. They'll say, yeah, that's doomer, that's doomerism, that's black pill, that's whatever. But the point of this video is that it's gonna look, like I said, it's gonna be so cringe me looking back at this. But the point of this video is for me to say something, you to disagree right now, and mumble something about it being black pilled, and then coming back to this video in 10 years and be like, oh, actually, this video had a lot of insight. Yeah, he did say that, and I disagree with him, and now I agree with him. That best case scenario, for example, in Western countries, we have these tiny little enclaves that we create. That is going to be a dream. Um, that's going to be a best case scenario that people don't really think about right now. Or also community building not being a thing until post 2028 in the U.S. When the U.S. election happens and people start internalizing there being no political solution, that's when also people start talking about, hey, yeah, we actually have to create Orania. Like in Canada has to have its own Orania, that and people will start doing that, Zoomer guys. So um, yeah, I was going to talk about some other stuff like Indians kind of being a bioweapon in the West, but I really don't care to talk about that right now because it's pretty apparent what's going on with that. Society is essentially a corpse, is dead. And people, are realizing now that that's been a thing for a while now, and it's basically our Western countries have been a walking corpse since 1945, and it took decades and decades for us to for the consequences to roll around. But yeah, I'm gonna end the video soon. I'm just kind of reading something so I don't have to make a part two. So I don't forget too much because I wrote a lot of bullet points. I just kind of lost in it right now. Mm. Yeah. So something else that I want to briefly just touch on is that remember I talked about the demographics, like European descent Zoomer guys, because like I said, there's no point talking about Gen X or boomers or whatever. I'm saying the generation that is going to live through and will be the ones building these enclaves in Western countries are Zoomers. Zoomers and obviously Gen Alpha will participate in that too. And what percentage are we? We are less than 5% of the population. And not all of us are going to be on board. A lot of us are going to be traders, mind controlled, or just indifferent. So it's going to be a small fraction of Zoomer guys themselves. And even with Zoomers, like half of us are Indian. You know, half of Zoomers in the UK or in France are not even French. They're not even European. They're Somalians or they're Indian or they're Pakistani or whatever. So when I'm talking about uh, you know, Zoomer males, I'm talking about the European descent ones. And then what fraction of that are going to be on our side? It's like a quarter of that. So we're talking 2% maybe, or 3% of the entire country's population. Obviously, these percentages will change. It could be, but I think tops, like in a country like Slovakia, it could be like 5% maybe. A country that's worse off, like the UK, might be like 2% of. Like I said, we are a tiny percentage of the population, and so so yeah, that's something we should have mentally present. Hmm, let's see. Okay, yeah, there might be a part two to this video because I'm reading. There is some stuff I've left out, but I really don't want to get into right now. Okay, so sorry guys for this being so long-winded and probably annoying to listen to. Just like these periodic silent pauses I've made and me talking more about making this video than actually talking about the ideas. I know it would have been better if it was just a 5 minute video, just me quickly talking about my predictions and then editing out the ums and pauses. But sorry about that. I tried to do that last week, it just didn't work out. Yeah. I, okay. Yep. Okay. So see you guys. I hope you guys check out my stream and subscribe. Tell me what you guys think about my predictions in the comment section. Okay. See you guys.